What's the grossest thing you've ever done in bed? I woke up to my pregnant cat trying to give birth on my chest. If this counts, I missed that cat, yo. Hey, pretty sure the cat thought your chest was the safest place around or something. Probably that one time, drunk at 18, when I shit myself in my sleep, didn't wake up, and rolled around in it all night. Yeah, definitely that. Woke up to my alarm for work. Absolutely disgusting. My condolences. Had a partner, M, who liked me, F, to pee in his mouth, but it's not something that I'm into, nor does it come naturally to me. He was going down on me and I was trying to force myself to pee. Long story short, the pressure made me fart into his mouth. I was so embarrassed I stopped seeing him after that. Hope you're doing well, Adam. I got pink eye, but I'm okay. My husband, he was on top banging away, and I said something that made him snort laugh and he blew an enormous wad of snot on my face. I bet you can't even cum out of your nose. Fucking Worthel. Not me. But the worst I recall reading about was a guy who was sick with dysentery managed to shit the bed while sleeping. Was a thread on Fark back in the mid-2000s. He woke up in a body-length pool of his own output, while sharing the bed with his girlfriend. He managed to wake her up and had her very carefully get out of the bed without getting on herself. Dude went on to explain that she helped clean up and stuck around, and that he ended up marrying her. End communication. If she sticks around after that, then she's marriage material. I was lying in bed and thought I was going to let out a pretty big fart. It turned out to be a diarrhea explosion. I've been nervous when I feel a fart ever since. You gambled and lost. Aunt overdosed me on X-Lax when I stayed over at her place one summer. She read 1 square as 1 bar. Nothing moved for like 4 hours, so she gave me another bar and sent me to bed. Queen-sized inflatable mattress was entirely covered in poo. Her cat woke me up playing in it and mewing at me. I got up and tried to go to the bathroom but puked from the smell. Ended up undressing in the bathtub and spewing from both ends until I passed out. I woke up to my aunt's hysterical screaming and my uncle's hysterical laughter, broken by gagging. We had to deflate the mattress and roll it like a burrito to carry it outside and hit it with the hose. I think they ended up tossing it. Had an operation one day, went to bed with no bleeding. Something must have come loose because I woke up 2 hours later with blood everywhere. Didn't want to wake my parents, so I just went back to sleep. It had stopped by then. Family member used to get terrible nosebleeds in his sleep. Looked like someone tried to use his pillow as a tampon. Edit. Thank you everyone for your horrific nosebleed stories. Shit myself in the hospital. Kept calling nurse, they never came. I guess code brown is not a thing. Spent all night stewing in my own juices. This isn't supposed to happen. What's really not supposed to happen is you pass out, puke and crap yourself all at once. Your wife calls 911. You end up in hospital overnight and get discharged with no answer after spending night on heart attack ward. Oh, and this was Christmas Eve, by the way. Tried playing around with butt stuff with my ex for the first time. Put my finger back there and found a small turd matted in his ass crack hair. Logging off. Thanks for sharing. I was volunteering in Africa. I woke up to find that I had crushed a cockroach with my face in the night. Came for sexy stories. Stayed for scatological horror. Maybe not the grossest but interesting nonetheless. My now wife and I were making love about 12 years ago. Upon finishing I sat up and noticed something furry under me. I assumed it was just a piece of fuzzy lingerie. My wife has always been into that and I thought nothing of it, until I looked down. I noticed something furry moving hastily and my initial reaction was to grab it. My eyes widened and my wife screamed. I then yanked an extremely furious chihuahua from under my crotch. Please understand it was very dark and I did not know she had a dog until that moment. Lol. To this day we laugh about this. I may or may not have tried to light a cigarette in my ass and smoke it. Ate an entire half-gallon of ice cream while sitting up against the headboard watching YouTube. That's just a good Friday night right there, homie. Was fooling around with my girlfriend and was playing with her ass. Was the first time as I was putting my finger in her. On instinct, as I usually do with her pussy, I took the finger out and put it in my mouth to suck off the juices. Immediately tasted shit. I played it off and continued. She would be mortified if she knew, and just moved past it. Drank pee, which wasn't that bad. Another time I gave a long lick up a guy's butt crack, only for my tongue to discover a chunk of poop tangled in his hair. Yeah, since then I only go downtown when it's light enough to pick up on hygiene standards. Lots of women interested in men's assholes. This is truly the golden age of ass. I just can't imagine why. The night is dark and full of terrors. Threw up a little when deep throating a guy. Did that and swallowed it again before he even noticed. I was staying at a hotel and ordered tea rolls with peanut sauce from a nearby restaurant. I was eating them in bed, and some of the peanut sauce spilled onto the hotel remote. Without thinking, I grabbed the remote and licked it. I still shudder thinking of it. So when I was a teenager, I took a nasty fall on my tailbone while in basketball practice. After a couple months, it turned into a gnarly abscess. It was during the basketball season, and I didn't want to go to the doctor because I thought he'd tell me to sit out until it healed. Didn't want to let my teammates down, so I just toughed it out. Anyway, I woke up one morning and my whole lower half is soaked. The smell in the room was putrid. So I lift up the covers and I'm covered with reeking pus. I put that mattress cover to the test, that's for sure. It had gotten so bad that I actually needed surgery to remove it. They removed about a baseball-sized chunk of infected flesh and sewed me back up. This happened to my sister, except they didn't stitch it. The 5 centimeters deep hole had to be packed with gauze every day for 2 months by a home care nurse. I got blackout drunk and puked in my sleep and went right on lying in it. I nearly went out like a 70s rock star. Those were dark days. I'm all better now. Drunk. I threw a frozen pizza in the oven, still in the plastic and cardboard. Forgot and made ramen. Woke up the next day with a mouth full of unchewed noodles and in a fire alarm I'd been sleeping through for 3 hours. I used to have one side of my bed pushed up against the wall, bachelor style. I slept almost nose to wall. One fateful night, I had some Chinese food from a questionable place. Not in the, wow, this is gonna be good food, questionable, but more in the, I don't know if this is safe to eat, way. Let me tell you, friends, it was not safe to eat. I woke up in the middle of the night, nauseous, confused, and wondering if I had to puke. As I was propping myself up to run to the toilet, I puked, hard. It rebounded off the wall and covered most of my upper body and face. As I rolled away in disgust, I puked again, this time almost face down on my bed. That, I do believe, is the grossest thing I've ever done at bed. Also, thank God for mattress protectors. The plastic ones. If your sheet slips, you might be temporarily glued to it from sweat, but I don't know if I could have saved the bed otherwise. My girlfriend had to pee during sex, so I pulled a spare blanket under her and fucked her until she helplessly pissed-cummed all over my dick. No regrets. It was hot as hell. My then-boyfriend was really bad about reapplying lube until it was just a sticky mess. I kept telling him to use a few drops of water instead. The one time he remembered, he used water from a bottle he had by the bed. He opened it, used it on himself, and fortunately before he resumed intercourse I asked what that awful smell was. He paused and then pretty much dragged me into the shower. Turns out he'd been using an empty bottle to spit in for weeks and grabbed it instead of a fresh water bottle. The smell of spit accumulating for weeks in a bottle in a warm room makes a national park toilet smell like roses in comparison. Edited for clarification. He'd had a cold and was coughing up phlegm repeatedly, so spat into a bottle instead of coughing into a tissue or just spitting in the toilet. I'm not sure which is more disgusting, routinely spitting regular saliva into a bottle, or occasionally spitting phlegm into a bottle. Regardless, he should have thrown it away when he knew I was coming over. Also, that fucker is very much an ex. Why the fuck did you date a person who hoarded spit in a bottle by his bed? I was giving my ex a blow job after having dinner. I puked all over his dick and stomach. You ate someone's ass, who I learned had bad hygiene, while the lights were off. Wash your asses, everyone. This was years ago. I lived, I'm fine. Didn't catch anything. I woke up to a massive sneeze which launched diarrhea all over the bed. I distinctly remember getting screaming, no, how did this happen? Why has God forsaken me? Thankfully I live alone except for my cat, who I think was just scared by my suddenly screaming. Peed in a guy's mouth by accident. A girlfriend did that to me once, when I was eating her out from below. I suddenly had a mouthful of warm liquid. It didn't really taste like much. She was so embarrassed that she dashed to the bathroom and wouldn't come out for half an hour. It's a tie. Either the time I woke up to find the bloody dead mouse my cat had left on my pillow for me, while I slept on that pillow. Or the time I woke up to my dog about to barf on my face, pushed her away in time for her to throw up our other dog's poop on my bed. Could have been worse, could have been on my face. I'm queasy just thinking about those. Fuck. You people are disgusting lol. Pretty sure her name was Chantel. Got drunk enough to take this large woman to bed. I don't mean large as in plus size. I mean she was 6 feet 2 inches and built like a linebacker. Had one hell of a tummy too. I remember her being a screamer and practically crabwalking on the bed while I was going at it. When I woke up, it smelt like Shrek and malt liquor. The sheets looked fine, but I had to throw them out as she slept in them for like a day and a half afterwards. I thought she died. Shrek and malt liquor. Was at a hotel with my ex getting throat fucked. I tried to tap out cause I really had to pee but he kept going. I puked and pissed myself at the same time. To top it off, I started my period during it as well. It was a whole mess. This girl had been trying to get in my pants for the better part of a year in school. Wound up at a party at her parents' apartment and we both got drunk and got into bed. Turns out she was a virgin and on her period. It looked like we had sacrificed a goat in her bed and we were both covered in dried blood the morning after. Period don't stop nothing but a sentence. Pooped without my own consent. Honestly, give birth. That shit is so gross. Stuck a gummy bear in her bum and then ate it. Was it one of those 1 foot tall ones? It was a THC gummy. He got faded and spent an hour and a half gnawing at her asshole like a zoned out cow chewing cud. I farted in bed. The smell was so bad the 3 cats gave me a disgusted look before leaving the bedroom. It was a very cold night and they wanted warm places to sleep, but they left anyway.